Hi. Here we are again today, looking at uh, the parables. For those who have been following the story, definitely um, I have been on a parables journey in recent times, and I hope you have been gleaning one or two things from those stories I've been sharing. And one of the things I've actually come to appreciate, one of the is the fact that. Stories are powerful. There is this book I read by Catherine Kendra Hall where she talked about stories that stick and how stories are really, really what most organizations, most businesses are telling. Like every kind of business you have, every kind of uh, sales is actually a story. Your life as a person is also telling a story. Your life is following a story. Someone is following the story of your life. So, some people get glued to the TV because of stories. So stories are powerful. Histories are stories. So someone is following history and all of those kind of things. So Jesus was not, exempted from stories. He also used stories. And this is what parables generally are. And when Luke was putting together his write-up, he actually, aligned himself with a lot of the things that Jesus was trying to tell his disciples. Most of uh, Luke's ideologies, look, I'm trying to tell you a story here, but it's based off of what Jesus said, like the stories Jesus told. These are the things he was trying to tell his disciples. He was trying to help them in this particular perspective. And Jesus' disciples were made up of different kind of people. People were fish business, people were tax collectors, people were just people. And he needed to, help them to see how they were going to navigate the future. I know the most important thing to us as Christians is to try to prepare for heaven, but I also know that one of the things that was important to Jesus was to help his disciples live a fulfilled life while they are here on earth. And that's one of the reasons behind this particular parable we are looking at today, and it's in the book of Luke, Luke chapter 16. That's Luke chapter 16 from verse 1 to um, from verse 1 to verse 13. And one of the fact of the story is the parable of the shrewd manager. Now, Jesus told his disciples there was a rich man and all of those kind of things, and the man had a manager. So we are not reading through it, but you can take time to read. So this is the fact. The man had a manager and he was getting stories that the manager was wasting his resources. So now, if you understand the place of business, you don't want anybody tampering with your resources. You don't want anybody abusing, frustrating or trying to destroy your business in any way if you give them responsibility to help you manage. So for the owner of the business to address the issue, you say, okay, look, it's about time for you to leave. I'm going to let you go, prepare all of your documents and hand them over to me. It's time for you to go because I see you are wasting my resources. Now, in a business world, maybe that's not the first thing to do. In today's world, you're already taking off their badges, cutting off their signing in, everything. They don't have access to anything. But at the time, Jesus was trying to educate us about something, about the mindset of people, how people really care about you, how they really are interested. But I want us to, because I know most times we are really so focused that we forget some of the little things that, comes with some of these stories. The first thing that I see about this man's story is the fact that the man was thinking ahead. Now, whatever he was doing, to cause about the wastage that was talked about by the rich man, I do not know. There are probably some things he was trying to do to say, okay, look, this man is rich. I need to start saving up something for myself or something. Probably was just doing something. That's how it got reported. But the fact that it was like, okay, so this man is trying to let me go. I still have a few seconds to be able to put things and get myself something when I leave here. Because he made a statement, he said, look, I cannot dig. I know the interpretation, some of the concordances I checked, looked at, it was like, I cannot dig simply means like, look, I cannot be a laborer again. I have escaped that stage. It's like this job was like a step up for me. This is my opportunity to get to the next level. And so now you are thinking about me getting back there. No, I'm not going to do that. My life is about to move. I have to prepare my life in such a way that I'm going to go back to where I'm coming from. That's the perspective this man had. Because he alone understands all of the issues he had to deal with in his life before he got to this position. I'm not like kind of, giving excuse for him for a bad behavior but his focus was on, look, I need to take steps to address the change, the new transformation I need in my life. It's about his mindset, where his mind was. It's about, look, I need to make preparation for my future. I cannot go down this way. That's that's what I see in this man's thought process, right? That, look, I need to be able to do something. And what did he do? He began to make calls. Now, in the stories that Jesus told, the Bible only told us he called two people. But I want to put it in perspective. If your master had like 5,000, 10,000 customers, I'm sure you want to try to call maybe 1,000 of them. At least those ones you are familiar with, and all of those kind of things. So he was thinking ahead. He was thinking ahead of the curve that, look, this man is trying to cut me off, but I need to make sure I'm doing something. And what did he do? He said, look, now hold on. This is a very popular story in scripture, so it's not new to any one of us. But the fact that he was thinking ahead is one thing I want you to focus on. Like, it might be in a negative way, that's the way you say it, but he was trying to make sure he does not get back. He is trying to make use of the few seconds he had left. He was trying to make sure he took advantage of it to be able to get himself a step further. He was trying to make sure he was able to. The Bible, the right word the Bible used was get friends. Because what he did was he called up the first guy. Hey, look, how much do you think you are owing? I actually even felt like that question was the wrong question. You are supposed to be the manager of someone's business, and you are calling up and not one of the persons that hold your master, and you're like, hey, how much do you hold? This I know because he also has the other person. This is more like a very wrong question because you are supposed to have details about what every person's owed. But whatsoever he asked, and he asked in such a way that it looked like, okay, whatever you said, that's what you hold. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you say, okay, no, I hold 1,000 kilogram of this. Okay, yeah, pay for, bring 500. So the first guy told him, look, he said, look, how much do you hold? The guy told him, look, I hold like 900 gallons of olive oil and all of those kind of things. He was like, okay, that's cool. So this is what we're going to do. I have commission in this thing, right? Yeah. My commission is supposed to be probably like, I don't know what it was then. Maybe max 10% or something. It was like, okay, now, so this is what you're going to do. Cut that receipt in half. You understand what I'm saying? I want you to put that you are owing 450. So, and just let's seal it there. And then it's like, oh, is that what you want? Yes, that's what I want. Okay, got it. It's like, okay. Then he called the other guy. Hey, how much do you owe? He said, oh, look, I owe like 900, 1,000 stuff of wheat, bags of wheat or whatever it was. And it was like, oh, okay, look, if you owe 1,000 bags of wheat, just pay, change it. You are owing 800. And Jesus went ahead and said the master commended him. Why? Because he was thinking ahead. Most times we are so caught up with some of these stories that we forget the morality. I as a person, as a Christian, I would feel like, why would Jesus be telling this kind of stories? His basis is the fact that we always forget, because when you look at all of these parables that Jesus is always talking about, the prodigal son, all of those things that Luke wrote about, you come to find out that they are actually mostly intended to take our minds off things that, are so, like, we take so highly, like we feel like these are the things that are so important, especially finance now. And then most of those parables, a number of them are actually around finance. This is one of them. The rich man, the prodigal son, and all of those things. So when you look at it, it's kind of like Jesus was trying to address how we handle finances. And he said something, he said, look, if you cannot take care of somebody else's wealth, how will you be able to? I'm sure you remember the story where he said, okay, look, the rich man went out. He had 3 servants. He said, look, he gave someone 5. He gave someone 2. He gave someone 1. Why? Because he already know their abilities. He knows what they have ability to do. He has been with them for some time. He knows what they're able to do. So that's why he gave them. But someone was angry because he gave him 1. The other person he gave 2 came back with 2. The other person he gave 5 came back 5, because this is what it has always been. You know the person around you who is able to think deep. This is the thing about some of these parables, that you are able to use your present situation. You're able to bring about a change. Every person who is atop every organization, their intention, they do not know everything about the organization. It's not like they know every stage of the business, but they can have in them the ability to be able to know who to entrust every sector of the organization to, and they will be comfortable and be able to go and rest and be sure that, everything is going to run smoothly, whether they are there or not, because they can already see people's abilities. So back to the story that we're talking about. This man went ahead and began to make calls. He probably called 1,000, 10,000, I don't know. But the important fact is the fact that he was trying to prepare a space for himself. He was trying to ensure that he was able to secure a future for himself, maybe for his children too, if he had, and all of those kind of things. He was trying to make use of the moment. I want you to take note of that. That man was focused on making use of this moment, this little open door. The door is about to close on him, but he was trying to make use of this little moment, this tiny second, this little or no time that he has to be able to gain advantage, gain friendship, gain connection, gain network, and all of those things. Those were what he wanted to do in that minute. That's what came to his mind. I cannot just go down this way. I need to take a step. Some of us will already be cowing out and just buying out and just doing all kind of things. No, this man will not back down. He wants to make sure he takes advantage of every second. And the master was happy. The master said, even though you are dishonest, but you are having this ability to want to deal with the situation, take advantage of this situation, try to gain a friendship for yourself. Because there is no way, if I told you, hey, look, you hold 900, now you are holding 450, and I come to you after I left the company, hey, I'll just need a favor. Can I be one of your suppliers? I also want to be selling this product. If you just give me 100 bags, I'll bring back the money. Don't forget, you hold him 450 already. So if you tell, okay, for 100, that's fine, I can give you. That's it. So he's already kind of building his own links. This might look shrewd, but let's talk about how the man was commended. He said in verse 8, he said, the master commended the dishonest manager because he had acted shrewdly. For the people of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own kind than are the people of the light. I tell you, use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dealings. Jesus said it. This is what Jesus' statement. Use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. You know, I know most times, this is most of the things we did, in scriptures that we tend to over spiritualize. This is Jesus's words. It's not my words. And so I want you to just take very good note of it. He said, I tell you, use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. This is Luke chapter 16, verse 9. What was he saying? You can give every kind of interpretation. I'm just going to tell you what I see in that scriptures. And what he says is, gain friends for yourselves from your possession, from those things you have acquired. This thing this man was in charge of was not really his. So that when it is gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dwelling. Now, the rich man was not expecting this man to act the way he acted. But Jesus was like, okay, look, I know for most of us, we feel like when we gain influence, when we gain financial breakthroughs, when we are rich, or whichever way you want to put it, most times the next thing is for us to try to step up, which is good. I'm telling you, it's good. To step, oh, I cannot live in this neighborhood any longer. Oh, I need to move to this area. I need to be in this place. I'm telling you 100% I'm with you. But this is the point. The point is, whatsoever we do with riches matters a lot. There are a lot of people out there today who are giving out billions and billions of dollars trying to affect other people's life. They could take that money and be on any kind of plane or boat, or just be flying all over the world and just do stupid things and just create all kind of chaos everywhere. But some people are addressing people's deficiencies. They are addressing people's problems. They are addressing people's situations. They are addressing things that are going to bring about transformations. There are organizations that are being affected today because some people are spreading out to them because out of their benevolence, right? And sometimes we tend to think, oh, they are going to hell. I don't have an answer to that. But what I want to say to you is this. God does not ignore those little stuff, those little things you do to help a brother, help your sister, get someone out of their misery, get someone out of their issues, and lift them up to the next stage of their lives. No one is going to have the solution. There's no man who has the answer to everybody's problem. No, every human being has their problems that they're dealing with. Even the people who have billions and billions at their disposal know that they have a lot that they are dealing with, have the understanding that they cannot solve even their own problems. But for them to be able to think outside of their own problems, their own situations, the things they are dealing with, and be like, okay, look, there are other people who are dealing with stuff too. Let me help those people. I feel like this is what Jesus is talking about. These people are already having the heart that Jesus wanted. Because what? They are thinking about other people. Some of us, when we get all of this kind of, there's one thing I always say, that poverty is a mentality. It's not really about wealth. It's not about money. It's not about what you have. No, it's about how you think. That's what poverty is. So if you have billions, you can still be a poor person, even when you have billions at your disposal, because all you're thinking about is you, yourself, and you. So when it's always about me, myself, and I, that's the poorest kind of person that is in the world. No matter how much billions or trillions you have, it doesn't count, because the real essence of life is influence. The real essence of living is being able to affect other people. The real essence of living is being able to touch your environment, affect people's destiny, reach onto people in ways no one has ever touched their lives. And you'll be surprised what is going to happen from there. And that's what Jesus was about. It was like, look, it went about, the Bible says it went about doing good. He had Jesus could be working on being the biggest billionaire at this time. But no, that was not his focus. His focus was helping people. People, humans. That's what he came to do. And this is what he was focusing on when he was addressing this man's situation. And he went further to say, look, verse 10 says, whoever can be trusted with very little. It's about trust. You understand? You know, when Paul was talking, and Paul said, look, in a great house, there are not only vessels unto honor, there are also vessels unto honor. Some, you know. And when I was writing my book, I Let Go the Past, I mentioned something about that scenario because I kind of get an understanding that, look, you are in a room, right? In your house, you have buckets, maybe. You have maybe basins, maybe. You have little bowls. You have all kind of vessels. You have things that will serve different kind of purposes. So now, if you want to mix, if you are, let's say you want to do a mix up, you want to mix some things. You want to, you need maybe to mix, let's say like 20 liters or 30 liters of liquid. You need to mix it up together. I'm sure you are not going to take a little bowl that you can use to fetch water from wherever. You're not going to take a little bowl to do that, to do the mixing of 30 liters. You're going to go get maybe a basin that is up to that size to be able to do whatsoever mixture you want to do. So what I'm trying to say is everything serves different purposes. The little bowl is going to serve its purpose in your house. The big bowl is going to serve its purpose in your house. The medium one is going to serve its purpose in your house. All of those vessels serve different purposes. So when someone is endowed with so much riches, they are like the big bag basin, right? They can serve the purpose. And if you are, okay, like the small bowl, I mean, just do what you have at your disposal. But what we are trying to do is the small bowl wants to become the big basin. There's nothing wrong with trying to do that. I'm not against people trying to expand their mindset and all of those. It is great. But one of the greatest ways to do that is taking advantage of the little moment to affect other people. That little way that need help, that little bowl needs to solve somebody's situation, needs to transfer some liquid from one little place to the other. Then it should do it. Because tomorrow when space comes for it to get bigger, it needs to go back into the factory and be remolded. The opportunity is going to come for it to be able to serve bigger things if there is need. So we are always focused on the bigger things. You want the bigger stuff and all of those things, but it is not about bigger things in the kingdom of God. It is about what you are available doing, the present privileges, the present opportunities that are right in front of you. It wants you to use them to take a space for yourself. The riches he has enriched you with, listen to me, the riches he has given you are for you to take a space in the kingdom. If he has endowed you with a little space, use it to take a bigger space up there. If he has endowed you with a bigger space, take the bigger space up there. That's what this is about. It's not about you. It's not about everything has to fall around you. No, this is what Jesus was trying to address. Taking advantage of this moment, what is at your disposal, transform it, taking it to make a space for yourself tomorrow. That's what this parable is about. Do not forget that taking advantage of this moment to take a space for yourself tomorrow, taking advantage of what he has endowed with you today, to take a space for yourself tomorrow, taking advantage of the seconds he has opened for you today to get an advantage for yourself tomorrow. And the way it comes is how you relate with people, how you affect people, how you turn around people's lives. That's what this great thing is about. And once we realize this, it changes the whole game for us. And I know that Lord will help us. And this is why when Jesus was concluding on this parable, he said, no one can serve two masters. Whatsoever resources you have at your disposal is given by God. And so once you recognize the fact that God is the ultimate in everything you have, it helps you to shape and focus on him. Say, no one can serve two masters. You either love one and hate the other. He said, no one can serve God and mammon. And mammon, this point, is riches. You know, It's not just like riches like that. It's just that you understanding, because I feel like mammon is not really the riches he has given you, is where you place your priorities. Let me put it that way. Are your priorities with God or with the things that you have? Some of us feel like our identity, who we are attached to the things. Oh, I own this. Oh, I own that. My name is on this. Those are the things that validates you. No, God said, your validation, everything in him we move and have our being. If your being, your life, all that you think about is not in him, then you are serving mammon. That's what this scripture is about. So once you are able to get your mind to a point where you are thinking and all of your thought process is about what would Jesus do? What would he do in this situation? How is he going to address this situation? Most time we're always trying to be very spiritual about all of these things. And we forget the real essence of being human. There is no point in history. That's my opinion. And I want you to know that this could be wrong, but I'm going to say it all the same. I do not believe there's never been any place in history where humanity is losing humanity, where we are losing our humanity than now, because people do every kind of stuff. Today, there are a lot of crises in the world because nobody gives a damn about the next person. And that's not how the kingdom is. The kingdom is a situation where you are thinking about the next person around you. You are trying to help. You are trying to save or whatever situation they have. You are trying to just be able to address things that are going on in their life. Not because you are God. No, it's just because you care as human. But today, everybody is trying to, you're trying to get rid of the other person. You are trying everything there's this adage where I'm from, like, look, you have a cutlass in your hand and you are chasing the other person, you are trying to cut him off. You understand? Why? Because that's what we are right today. That's where we are today. But I'm coming to you today with the word, and this is what Jesus said. Jesus commended the manager. He used the story to just let us realize there are things he has put at our disposal. There's this small window of opportunity we are going to get. What are you going to do with it? That's what the man had. He had just a second to make a decision. But he made a decision to say, no, I cannot go down. Are you going to go down just the way people are chasing their stuff, chasing everything in this world, and losing humanity? They don't care about, sometimes when you hear of terrible things that are going on in the world, you'll be surprised. Sometimes people are focused on what the physical is. You're not digging deep to see exactly. And sometimes some people are just lost in, this is a spiritual issue. It's just like you hear sometimes. And sometimes they're not spiritual. They are just issues that people are dealing with that needs to be addressed. And when they are addressed in what they are as humans, we might probably be able to help ourselves. Now, let's not forget the reason why we're here. The most important thing is, when you have a second, are you going to make an eternal decision? Or you're going to make a decision that's for this moment, that will give you the glory of this moment, but you're going to lose eternity? Because that's what this story is about. Taking advantage of this moment to stick with what Jesus would want you to do. This is where he wants me. I need to be about his kingdom. Or you're going to be like, no, I need to be about myself. I need to be about me, myself, and I. Or I need to be about the kingdom. I need to be about people. I need to be about helping others to get into the kingdom. That's where I believe I want to take a full stop on that particular parable. And I hope you have heard one or two things. And I pray that the Lord bless you. In Jesus' name. Thank you.